Hello everyone! I hope that you or your child had a wonderful time with our first week of virtual voice lessons. So this is a quick review of what we learned if you want to or have the opportunity to continue practicing with your child over the week so that they can come even more prepared next time and continue to grow with these skills. So the first thing we worked on was the singer's introduction. This is them saying, hello, my name is, and today I will be singing, and then the name of their song. So for example, hello, my name is Anissa, and today I will be singing This Little Light of Mine. So we want them to be able to articulate, speak clearly with confidence, and also stand in singer's posture, which is what I'm going to talk about next. So that means, and it's always great with these things if you can ask it in a form of a question first. So what does singer's posture look like? And many of them will be able to describe that to you. So our feet are shoulder width apart, and with the younger ones, we practiced using our pointer finger, starting at our shoulder and going down to our foot and saying, did those line up? So are our feet shoulder width apart? Our knees are slightly bent. Of course, we don't want them to be locked. Our hands are resting by our side and our chest is raised to the sky. We don't want them crouched in. That doesn't allow them to take a good breath. And their head and neck is nice and tall and looking forward. So this is wonderful, especially young children have a hard time not fidgeting, but this is a great thing for them to know in general and practice in general, how to stand calmly with their hands by their side. So ask them if they can stand in singer's position and do an introduction. So the technique that we worked on today were three main things: vowels, breath, and enunciation. So as singers, you may or may not know this from your previous experience, but we sing through the vowels. So of course, it's very hard to sing through a consonant. So with every word, we're thinking, okay, what's the vowel in this word? And that's where we want to focus the note on. So for example, Frozen's very popular. Let it go, let it go, let it go, going to that O. And young children's tendency is to sing things very wide. Let it go. And that's kind of what makes them sound a bit younger and childish, which isn't a bad thing. But for everyone to make your voice sound more mature, more beautiful, to allow the sound to come out, everything needs to be very tall. So with this little light of mine, the vowel in the word light is the I. This little light of mine, instead of this little light of mine. So that is one of the main things we were working on. So asking them, so what's the vowel in that word and how can we sing through it or sing on the vowel? The next thing is taking a singer's breath. So we talked about that each of us have a diaphragm. So I am not medical in any way, but I do know it's about here. And it's kind of in an umbrella shape, but I described it as a small balloon that's not inflated yet, that's in their belly. And we have to take a big, deep breath to fill that balloon up with air so that we can sing through a phrase instead of this little light, to be able to take that big breath and then sing it all together. So you might remember they were asked to bring a straw or a book to their lesson, or both. So the straw helps because when we talk about taking a deep breath, it's not a gasp that our shoulders come up. So that doesn't really do anything for us. But the thing that helps me most was the milkshake metaphor of taking a sip of a really thick milkshake. So going, and you can feel your diaphragm filling up with air. So we had them do that with the straw, put one hand right on their diaphragm and see this hand go out. So filling up, and you can definitely feel that. Another helpful thing is putting their hands on their rib cage. The ribs should go out as their lungs fill up with air. And the last thing is laying flat on the ground and putting the book there on their diaphragm and seeing that go up in the air. So this is a very challenging concept, but a huge one to singing, and so important, obviously, to get through those beautiful phrases so they can work on that. The older kids, after we took the breath, then we exhaled on S, and I counted. So I'd say breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then breathe out, and we would see how long they could hold the phrase. And the last thing was enunciation. So how to articulate every single word that they sing. We said we don't want to sing, let it go, because then nobody knows what you're singing about. So we did some tongue twisters and talked about the importance of pronouncing each word. So those are the things that we worked on in week 1. Those are all so foundational, so we'll continue to visit them every week. But if you have time to work with your child in between lessons, we would love for you to work on those things. For week 2, the preparation that we'd love for you to do is, if your child is old enough to read, to write out the first verse and the first chorus of the song. So that's going to be like the first paragraph, and then the chorus is the part of the song that repeats over and over. So if you are able to help them write that out and leave some space in between, they're going to be learning dynamics, which is loud and soft and the different levels. And so I want them to be able to write symbols underneath the lyrics to be able to remind them which volume they're going to be singing at. If they're not able to read or write, a simple scarf or a dish towel or a washcloth, something like that, because we will symbolize the dynamics with the scarf being high in the air or low to the ground. So that's what we'll be working on next week. Hope you've already signed them up. And thanks so much for tuning in.